tragedy, and those who have the value of that instinctual part of us that went to the rescue of anyone hurting so that humanity could survive along the path of evolution. I'm going to turn to several organizations now that respond to tragedy. I greatly admire Doctors Without Borders, an organization that was started in France in 1971. They bring medical help to people in crisis. And they are very clear it's irregardless of race, religion, or political affiliation. And the only variation that they have, the only postscript, is that we will also bear witness. So if in Syria or the Sudan or wherever there's major conflict, they go where there's a catastrophe, violence, neglect, whatever's done in regard to armed conflict, epidemics, malnutrition, or even natural disasters. These volunteer doctors go in these areas and they do everything that is medically possible to help. Now that is coming out of the best part of our souls, our deepest values. And yes, they do bear witness. But on every day in this world, there are 27,000 workers for Doctors Without Borders who are bringing medical help wherever there is great need. And yes, this is not just doctors. This is nurses. This is administrators. There are all kind of staff people that supply the bandages and what else is needed, the medicines. And the medicines come from all over the world, also from that small remnant, that small group of people who really have superb values. The Doctors Without Borders bear witness, a phrase that came out of the Holocaust. I turn to a different group, the Child Fund International. My wife and I have done this for a number of years. We've sponsored a child. It costs $28 a month, which we can afford. And that $28 provides nutrition, clothes, education, opportunities for lives. And we knew the president of Child Fund International, a wonderful, wonderful man. And he told me once, I said, John, how do you get in these countries? I mean, sometimes you've gone into countries that have horrible dictators, and I don't see how you get in those countries, John. And he said, well, I go and talk with the dictator, and I say, all we do is help children. All we do is help children. And they build schools, they teach skills, they provide health care, they establish renewal sources for water and for food. But all we do is help children. What is that coming out of? Is that coming out of vengeance? Or is that coming out of a great value for humanity? My wife and I are also privileged to know a couple in Chicago, a couple who have a quadriplegic daughter who I also knew. And they have seen that disabilities, whether caused by war or one of these human tragedies, that the families of these people with these legs and arms that don't work, major spinal injuries, the families don't know how to react. And so our friends Bob Hill and Thea Flaum have started FacingDisabilities.com. It's a marvelous site. I'm going to leave this on so you remember it and so you can pass this site on to others who have disabilities. FacingDisabilities.com has hundreds of videos of interviews with people who are quadriplegic or paraplegic. And these videos explain the situation. Now, is this coming out of a deep value of humanity? You better believe it. It brings hope and nurture and information to families facing disabilities. So recently, I think it was just several weeks ago, this site of Bob Hill and Thea Flown added a new service, and that is peer counseling, so that one person who has a disability can go and work with somebody who has recently faced a major disability and talk with them about adjustment to life. And so I give you those three: Doctors Without Borders, Child Fund International, and FacingDisabilities.com. And each one of them is based on the great value of love towards anybody. It makes no difference anymore in this world, because let me tell you, playtime is over in the world. From now on, we cannot have a boy say yeah about some vengeance option, a 10-year-old child. Infantilism is over. We have globalization now, and we better learn to live and love together, because we are all in the same rowboat.